video, I'm going to show you a really easy, simple, step-by-step process on how to paint this beautiful landscape using watercolors and focusing on transparencies. So don't forget that all my YouTube videos are uploaded on my Patreon ad-free and most of the times early access. Also on my Patreon, I have a free membership. You don't have to be a member, and I have a few free tutorials there as well, obviously ad-free. I have a shop. I have sometimes I do live streams, so just go check it out. The link is in my bio or in the description below. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start showing you like the materials that I'm going to use, and let's just get started with the painting. All right. Okay, to go over the basic materials, I am using a small paper of Arches watercolor paper that is cold pressed, 140 pounds. It comes in big sheets like these, but I cut them in half and it comes like this. So I cut in half, then cut it again in half, and then I paint in. I'm going to paint in this smaller sheet. Now for the colors, I am going to primarily be using all of these colors. Opera pink, cadmium red orange, cadmium yellow, turquoise, and indigo. So that will be that. And then of course I have my clean water. And as for brushes, because I am using a small-ish kind of paper, I am going to use a round brush number 8. So this is a natural hair bristles. I will leave a link to all the materials in the description below. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started with the first step. So we're just going to paint a very simple sky. So I'm gonna have my paints right here, my water right here, beautiful. And we are going to start with a very basic kind of like, we're just going to do like a sunset, but very light. So just using a mixture of cadmium yellow and a little bit of pink, we're gonna go ahead and just create a beautiful kind of sunset vibe like this. It's like a pink little beautiful sunset. So like this, and we're just gonna start diffusing it at the bottom and just make it kind of gradient out. So what I like to do, if you guys have seen any of my other videos, is I like to move the paper around so I can see that the paint just flows on the paper, and it creates a beautiful gradient that I don't have to worry about the paint mixing in strange ways or having weird brush strokes or linear brush strokes or anything like that. So I like to just move the paper around and wait for the paint to dry. So I'm just kind of moving it around and I'll wait for it to dry. Okay, now that we waited and now this is completely dry, now I'm gonna go ahead, same brush, water, same, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with a little bit of a very faint green right here because it's a landscape. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start up here, painting a mountain like this, and now water. So we're just gonna go ahead and diffuse this like this. Beautiful. So you're gonna start seeing the transparencies once I start adding more mountains, but for right now, this is the first mountain and we let it dry. So this is a process where it just requires a little bit of patience, a little bit of time, because in between layers you have to wait for it to completely dry. So you can go ahead and use a heat dryer or a hair dryer or whatever you need to use for it to completely dry, or you can just wait. Okay, now that this is completely dry, we're gonna go ahead and get the other mountain in, so we can start like somewhere here. It looks cute. And see, this is what I mean by transparency. So it's just a little bit of time, patience, and maybe up here, and just basically time and patience. And then we start diffusing it back down here. And it's okay. It looks as if like one mountain's behind the other, and that's perfectly fine. Like, that's what we want. Well, that's what I want specifically for this painting. Like, it's nothing super realistic, so I'm just focusing on my transparencies. This is a really good exercise to focus on your transparencies, maybe where you're going to do flowers. I have a video on transparencies in flowers. Yeah, it looks a little bit more like a mountain like this. If you guys want to go check it out, it's the video that I uploaded a few weeks ago or last week, or it's on my channel, so you can go check it out. Beautiful. So now we wait for this to dry. All right, now that this is completely dry, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next one, and I'm gonna start adding a little bit more intensity on the paint, like a little bit more pigment. The closer they are, maybe the darker they are, and I'm just gonna go ahead and maybe do something like that. Beautiful. Making sure that I'm capturing in the video, and clean water, and then we wait for it to dry. Again, you can use a hair dryer or a heat gun or something like that. Beautiful. I think I'm going to do maybe 1 or 2 more mountains and we will be done. Okay, and then now that this is completely dry, let's move on and paint the next mountain. So I am actually going to move this to this side because it is a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe like this. Okay, there you go. So just a touch. Starts getting too indigo-y, so just a mixture of the two. Beautiful. Just this is how I'm mixing the paints, and I'm gonna go ahead and maybe start right here. So really like how I can see the transparency in behind like the other mountains. That is what I'm aiming for, and that is what I really like about this technique. It's just the transparency technique is very pretty to me. I think it's gorgeous. So just as long as you define that top edge and then diffuse it down, it's gonna look beautiful. So this is what we are kind of aiming for, this transparency in between the mountains. In here I lose it a little bit, but that's okay. My last mountain, once this one is completely dry, we'll just kind of like go here, maybe something like that, and that'll be that. Then we can add a few little birds and we can finish this cute little super easy landscape tutorial. Okay, now that my last layer is completely dry, I am going to focus primarily on my darkest layer down here. So I'm gonna use a lot, make my green very, very dark. So add a little bit more of the indigo. So I'm gonna start kind of like right here and just go down. Perfect. So this is it for the mountains, and what I really love about this one is that it has all my transparent layers the way that I wanted that to happen. Like I really focused on making these transparencies happen. So this one that's coming in the back and is behind, but you know, it just creates that kind of like just very nice transparencies. So the last detail that I would love to add, this is of course just a little extra little thing. I'm just going to tip the tip of my brush, just dip it a tiny little bit, and paint a few little birds. So I'm gonna go ahead and just paint little V's. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a closer look. So again, I am using the same brush, but just the very tiny tip of the brush has the pigment. I'm just painting some birds right here. Little ones, bigger ones. Just a little flock of birds, just tiny little guys, speck in the sky, and that's it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this super quick and easy tutorial of landscapes using watercolor and focusing on transparencies. Let me know in the comments if you guys have suggestions for any other videos, and I will accommodate as much as I can. And that is all. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.